Mr. Chairperson, sir, under Rule 72(1) of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business of this House, I rise to oppose the introduction of the Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Bill 2026 on multiple grounds enunciated hereunder. First, the bill suffers from excessive delegation of essential legislative functions. Core aspects such as the manner of vesting, management, disposal of assets, timelines, exemptions, and even appellate structures are left to be prescribed by the central government through rules. This effectively reduces Parliament to enacting a skeletal framework contrary to the settled constitutional principles that essential legislative policy must be determined by the legislature itself. Second, the bill enables wide and unguided executive control over property, including provisional and permanent vesting of assets in a designated authority with powers of management, transfer and disposal. This raises serious concerns under Article 300A of the Constitution of India, as deprivation of property must be fair and accompanied by adequate safeguards, none of which are meaningfully embedded in the statute. Third, the bill concentrates adjudicatory, executive and quasi-judicial powers in the same authority with limited and conditional avenues of appeal. This undermines the principles of natural justice and separation of powers, risking arbitrary decision-making. Fourth and final, the provisions enabling takeover, management and disposal of assets, even where partly funded by non-foreign sources, are manifestly disproportionate and may have a chilling effect on legitimate civil society activity, thereby undermining the constitutional guarantee under Article 19(1)(c) of the Constitution of India, which is a fundamental freedom and a fundamental right. In sum, the bill perpetuates sweeping, unguided and disproportionate powers in the executive without adequate safeguards or legislative clarity. It is therefore constitutionally suspect and ought not to be introduced in this House in its present form, and therefore I oppose the introduction of this bill.
सम्मानीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं महाराष्ट्र विशेषकर मुंबई के में से जो 16 सेक्टर है उसकी ज़मीनी हकीकत यहाँ पे कहना चाहती हूँ कि सरकार एक तरफ जो है वो रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी और एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी के बारे में बड़े बड़े दावे करती है, लेकिन सच्चाई यही है कि जनरेशन और ट्रांसमिशन में जो है उसके बीच में भारी असंतुलन हमको देखने को मिलता है। उत्पादन तो बढ़ गया है, लेकिन उसे ग्रिड तक पहुंचाने वाली क्षमता नहीं बनी है और इसका सीधा नुकसान जो है वो देश को और उपभोक्ताओं को जो है वो सहना पड़ता है। तो मेरे आपके माध्यम से मंत्री महोदय को मेरा सवाल है, मैं उनसे जानना चाहती हूँ कि क्या सरकार मानती है कि ट्रांसमिशन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के कमी के कारण सोलर एनर्जी का बड़ा उत्पादन का हिस्सा जो है वो बर्बाद हो रहा है। विशेष रूप से मैं मुंबई के जैसे महानगरों में जो इस तरह की सुधारणा के ठोस जो कदम उठाने चाहिए थे वो उठाए नहीं गए हैं, तो उसके बारे में आने वाले दिनों में आपने क्या प्रोविजन किया है?
मंत्री जी को पूछना, हिंदुस्तान में हुए बेहिसाब उत्खनन से जो धरती माता को नुकसान हो रहा है उसको सुनिश्चित करने के लिए, ठीक करने के लिए सरकार क्या कर रही है? मंत्री महोदय, सादा क्वेश्चन है।
एनवायरमेंटल अध्यक्ष महोदय, आपके अनुमति से मैं आज की कार्यसूची में क्रम संख्या 11 पर मेरे नाम के समक्ष यथासूचीबद्ध विज्ञान तथा औद्योगिकी, पर्यावरण, वन और जलवायु परिवर्तन संबंधी स्थायी समिति के 406, 407, 408, 409, 410 और 411वें प्रतिनिवेदन हिंदी और अंग्रेजी संस्करण को सभा पटल पर रखता हूँ।
Thank you, Chairperson, sir. I rise today to object the introduction of this bill under Rule 72(1) of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of the House. First, I want to say is that the state takeover of NGO assets amounts to quasi-expropriation, and the proposed bill centralizes significant powers in the hands of the central government by allowing it to determine timelines for the use of foreign contributions, regulate the management of assets, and control over various NGO functioning. This is in violation of Article 19(1)(a), 19(1)(c) as well. The experts and policy commentators have observed that the amendment may further shrink the democratic space available to civil society organizations. NGO engaged in human rights, tribal welfare, public health, and education are likely to face heightened scrutiny, regulatory uncertainty, and fear of punitive action. While foreign contribution to NGOs are subjected to stringent controls. Foreign direct investment in corporate sectors, the foreign direct investment in corporate sectors continues under relatively liberal frameworks. This is again in violation of Article 14 of the Constitution of India. Also, I would like to say that this adversely impacts the charitable work of the vulnerable communities, and there is an impact on the religious and minority institutions. These concerns have been raised by various religious and charitable organizations, including church bodies, regarding the potential impact of amendments on faith-based institutions. This is clearly in violation of Article 25 and 26 of the Constitution. Therefore, I object the introduction of